this rare weekend session setting up that final confirmation, the final confirmation vote for the start of next week.
Yeah, we have SDSU political analyst Dr. Stephen Goggin here with us this morning. Stephen, so good to see you again. You know, we were talking about it just a second ago, the Senate holding a procedural vote to break a Democratic filibuster. What exactly does that mean?
Well, so it's a little bit complicated, right? The rules have changed in the past decade as well. But essentially, Mitch McConnell filed a cloture motion on Friday. There's set to be a procedural vote this afternoon, of which the Republicans have the majority to do it, which will then put in place basically an effort to limit debate. And so debate will likely end tomorrow evening, and the final vote can proceed on her nomination sometime probably tomorrow night. If Democrats try a few various procedural tactics, right, it could delay until Tuesday, but the vote should happen quite soon.
And she got support yesterday from Senator Lisa Murkowski, who was one of those kind of on the bubble. She said yesterday she continued to oppose the process by which we've arrived here, but she said that she wouldn't hold it against Amy Coney Barrett, essentially. Was her vote even really necessary, though? It seems as though they have the numbers regardless.
Right. The Republicans did have the numbers, so her vote wasn't particularly necessary. And I guess she's looking ahead to future elections and deciding to cast her vote this way. But they didn't actually need her. And in fact, they could afford to lose another member or so with Mike Pence breaking the tie. But, you know, many of the senators and particularly Republican senators who are up for re-election this cycle are looking to get this done as quickly as possible so they can be back on the election or back on the campaign trail by midweek, back in their respective home states for debates and for everything else in the close run up to this.
And you know, the fierce fighting on both sides over the confirmation leading up to the election, how is that affecting morale that you see from voters and early voting as well?
Well, so it's interesting in many ways, right? The Republicans played their hand in this particular way, thinking, right, because they wanted the seat and everything else. And it could have actually mobilized a number of Democrats, many who have voted early already across the country. But of course, you know, they're trying to get this done, right, as quickly as possible before the election. And it's in some sense, right, changed the game a little bit for many of these Senate races because many of the senators are stuck in D.C. For these particular proceedings. But, you know, the Republicans gambled on it for the long-lasting power, not necessarily as a ploy for the particular election. But, you know, given the Supreme Court's kind of unwillingness to wade in Pennsylvania and many of these last-minute stay requests by Republican parties in various states, it's possible that she could have influence on the court as soon as she is seated in just another day or two.
This is going to be very interesting as we are so close to this election. Dr. Stephen Goggin, thank you so much for being with us briefly here this morning. Great to have your thoughts as we enter yet another unprecedented phase of this process. Thanks so much for being here.